Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatsMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very welcome. This show is really aimed at the gamer who is looking for their next map, but a secondary aim has unexpectedly evolved over the years, that being to try and add guidance to the newer creator whilst setting tougher standards for the big names. I've been told time and time again from numerous different creators that this show, in combination with better workshop content, has raised the standard of map making dramatically. Now, to give balance, any review show must not only feature the positives, but highlight the negatives too. But when I do so, I try to make light of these, unless they are literally game breaking. This is part of the reason that we have such silly names as Jinky Janky, Shipping Clipping and Donut Proofing. This is certainly a softer way of covering both major and minor flaws than the cold, hard truth. You see, I always try to remember that the creator could be anyone. They might be a retired cartographer, a professional game level designer, or even an 11-year-old with learning difficulties. Not knowing the creator means judging a map based only on its own merits, but where it falls short, not being too harsh. And this is not an easy balancing act. There are many times I've overlooked errors because there are already enough being raised, and the great advantage of video is that you can see the things that I don't mention, as well as the things that I do, both good and bad. It's up to you to make up your own independent minds. But when doing so, you also need to remember that this might be that 11-year-old. Ask yourself, if this were your son or daughter, is my tone and critique appropriate? And ask yourself, if you were writing a comment, would you want a stranger writing these words to your child? And it doesn't even have to be a child. We all take critique differently, and some people are more sensitive than others. Heck, on occasions, I have riled from critique of me in these very comments. It isn't often, but when it happens, I get up, walk it off, go and have a coffee, and go and do something else until my head is straight again. Now, I'm pretty resilient, but not everyone is like me. So I can't believe I'm going to have to say this, but from now on, every show will start with this reminder. I'm not always going to verbalise this, but if you're watching today, I'm going to ask for your help. Simply, try to be constructive in the comments. If the map stinks, try to find a positive way of suggesting that maybe their next map might be better, or whatever. Your words, not mine. And help me by responding to any harsh comments with this dry remark. Be nice. We aren't here to put people off map making, we want them to flourish. And so, that's today's lecture out of the way. Anybody want a map review? That's right, being nice in the comments really does support the channel by simply being nice in the comments. Thank you very much for your support. Today's map is P&K Pleasant Point West by KOMA, and obviously a little bit of help from Penny as well. Really interested to hear how that combination works, who does what and what does who. Anyway, we've got a start square that looks just like this. Today's map is, of course, a Friday map, which means it's been voted in by the BonBonB buddies over on Patreon. There's your terrain heights. It's not actually a request map, this one. It's been on my long list since I saw it pop up about a year ago and I felt it really needed a review. The resource is a little bit patchy, but those fields are painted in fertile, so I guess you can't actually argue with them. The fishing looks like that. You've got choice between the anchovies in the sea and the salmon in the river, pretty much anyway. Off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, no DLC is required for today's map. There are a couple of listed intersections, which is more a nod to the creators. They're not strictly required items. We'll be using the Coos Bay theme and the realistic 1.2 LUT. There is also network extensions to there, a few rocks and trees and stuff. Tunnel entrances as well. And the tunnels have been really very nicely done too. So let's go down and have a little look. At the edge of the map, we've got an elevated road section that we're just going to ignore. We're deep in the fog and it's the other side of the mountain. Nobody is ever going to see those roads playing any standard sort of game that you can imagine, unless you really want to be building a city around the edge of the map, in which case, be my guest. Have fun. It's lots. The air is a bit sparse out on the edge of the map. I just thought I'd let you know that. Okay, following the elevated highway across the very wide, islandy, marshy type river. We'll talk more about marshes a bit later on. First intersection looks like this, and intersections all very good indeed. Nothing massively exciting. I mean, we've got one that's a bit exciting. We'll say we've got one that's a bit, but are intersections really meant to be super sexy and exciting all the time? The answer is no. They're meant to get traffic from one point to another. I do want to show you this though, and I'm buying this completely. I think it was an accident. We've got these blocks holding up the roads, and you have a look, we've got the terrain glitching through these blocks. Now, soil would spill over there over time anyways, just form part of the erosion process. I'm buying the terrain. Now, whether that was intended or not, I suspect not, but I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt and say that it was. Because I just think it's good work. If it's good work, intended or not intended, it's still good work, and I'm okay with that. I quite like it, and there are a lot of occasions I like this and I like that with this map. The Coos Bay theme is a very nice theme indeed. The only thing I don't like with it, and it's a personal thing, is the ruining along the sides of the roads. Honestly, for the sake of ruining along the side of the roads, I could deal with it. Here's your sexy intersection. If you wanted a sexy intersection, there's one. And all the slip lanes are going to keep the traffic flowing really nicely through here. I suspect it might even have been hand built. Or certainly at the very least, if it was a plopped intersection, it's been worked into the environment. I didn't really look to see which intersections were to be subscribed to. I suspect it's been just worked into the environment, but it's been worked well. We have got a motorbike whizzing past my window, thank you. And then we have got elevated section. Now we've got the two one-lane highways which are supported by pillars, but this three-lane highway over this side has no pillar under it at all. So I feel that one's missing a bit of detailing, just a hint of detailing. We also have our soundproofing around the roundabout. I don't really buy that at all. I think we discussed that last week, didn't we? And also, in the start square, we have got an asset of the day. Now, this one is from a creator who's just starting to make themselves a bit of a name on the Steam Weekly charts. I mean, it's about 3 weeks now with them being in there, and they're producing great stuff. It's the 770, that's VII is Roman numerals for 7. 770 Soviet Hospital by Costas 667, or it could just be the VI 70. I don't know. I'm going 770. And factoids, because factoids, and this is one of my favourite factoids I've ever read on this show, so hang in there, guys. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the writer who invented the famous detective Sherlock Holmes, was born on this day, the 22nd of May, in 1859. Whilst officiating at the 1908 Olympics in London, Conan Doyle felt compelled to help a struggling Italian athlete who was leading the marathon at that time over the finishing line. Unfortunately, such an action is against the rules and the runner was thus disqualified. It's elementary. Elementary. You think he would know the rule, wouldn't you? You would know the rule. Where were we? At the 770 Soviet Hospital there by Costas 667. Right, so back to the roads, and we have tunnel entrances, and I'm not going to show you any of these tunnel entrances. They are all pretty slickly done. I have no major grumble. There might be one or two with tiny little tweaks here and there, but honestly, there's nothing that you're going to be put off with on this map. And then we'll have a look at the rail. I would say, for me, the biggest grumble would be the ruining on the sides of those ground-based roads. But that is not something, well, it's something you can do. If you've got the theme mixer too, you can go in there and amend that ruining for something that you feel that works a bit better. But this theme is so good, I'd just be inclined to leave it. The rail emerges over here, goes underneath both sets of highways, and that looks pretty realistic to me as well. This next bit here, I think there might be a bit of tunnel glitching on the underside. First of all, it goes in really smoothly. But if you have a look on top, we've got a little bit right there where it looks like the tunnel is just glitching through the land a little bit. Thank you very much. Another motorbike. They're all out there today. All the idiots. You're not going to get there any quicker if you go faster. Or you might. Anyway, back to the rail. Back to the rail. It's pretty standard fare, but it's well presented standard fare. It just takes rail around the map, and it comes out over here, one of those magic tunnels. Icania style, goes in one location, comes out somewhere completely different. Why not? And we could go right to the edge of the map here. I'm going to take a left instead and go through some more tunnels. As we had such a long intro, I feel we'll show you a little bit more map before we disappear for the intermission. Then we'll do the shipping. Do you reckon there'll be shipping on this map? And then we'll have a quick overview, and I'll show you the one thing about the map that, you know, other than the ruining, there's one little thing I don't like on the map. But for me, I really don't like it. It's a personal thing. You can tell me I'm wrong, and I'm always prepared to accept that you're wrong.
Are you struggling with water physics in the game? Are you constantly drowning and flooding your soggy little sins? Then you need the Beginner's Guide to Water Physics by BonBonB. Click the information button now.
And so back to P&K, Pleasant Point West by KOMA and Penny. And we have a shipping route that loops around right by these harbours. And for me, the big problem are these islands. There's a lot of big islands dumped down there in that bay. We'll have another glance at them in a moment. The water flow surprised me in a good way. This is a sort of river where you're going to have problems with water flow. Yet, although it looks a bit weak in places, all the places that you want there to be water flow, there are. It's a working river. It's wide, and it's really quite nicely shaped with all of those little marshy islands. I could say completely the opposite for the islands out in the bay. I couldn't play this map because those are just annoying. I would have to come, take my terrain tool, and basically remove all of them. I just don't like them at all. It's a real bind. No, it's a clincher for me. I just cannot get my head around them. Well, if we put our back to those little islands, where most of the rest of the map is with the back to the islands, I like this. This theme works really well. I'm loving the terrain work. It's the great thing with this theme is you can actually use good grief, they're all out there today. Don't know if you can hear that, but my God. Yeah, the terrain looks amazing. Minimal tree detailing required, because obviously the theme textures are just so striking that and so busy that you can actually get away. Yes, you've still got to put trees down. You have to. But there are places where you can say, do you know what? I'm not going to use any trees on this mountain because honestly, there's enough variation in the texture already for it to not need it. This mountain stream is not very exciting, if I'm straight with you. It also starts way too much up the mountain for a water spawn point for me. But again, are you really going to be noticing that when you're building your city over on this flat land over here? And I reckon the answer is probably no. But I'm loving in general, I'm loving the terrain. What do you think of this map though? Is this a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. What do I think? I think it probably could be. Probably could be. Aesthetically, I really like this one. I think it could definitely be more so, basically by getting rid of all those islands or reworking the islands to make them more believable. but I still think aesthetically it's a really strong map, and I'm going to give it 4 stars. Detailing again across the whole. There's nothing wrong with the map. The stand, I reckon there could be a little bit more done, more wow factor, but I still think it's worth 4 stars. And finally, gameplay. Gameplay's, oh, it's all there, isn't it? It's all there. I'm just not excited because of those islands. So I'm going to give it 4 stars for gameplay because it is all there. But I just, personally, I can't give it a seal of approval because I would just be lying to myself. But you can see whether you like this enough to give it your personal seal of approval. P&K Pleasant Point West by KOMA and Penny. Good work. Good work. Yes, of course, there's always things. Show me a map that has got nothing in it that I would change, and I'll show you an all-star map. And there have been so few of those that, yeah, that one's a good one. That one's a solid one. I think you've got some subscribers coming. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll catch you again tomorrow with some news about a change to the voting. See you then.